Hello, should be live. Yes, we are. So what do we have? Okay, I think we're live. We are. So what do we have? Michelangelo Chase. Let's check him out. I'm surprised he's fallen into Bannerlords, actually. Interesting that we get a copyright at the bottom. That's very interesting. I'm just keeping a tab on what my clan is doing. Let's check him out. A1 2-hitter. This is an increased attack on him. Of course, it's going to be crit. He's an attack. The names are great. Attacks an enemy before attacking has 75% chance. Books to 100. Decreased defense on the target, single target. And a 75% stun with a debuff spread. That's really nice. That's really, really nice. The AoE on the A3 with the leech and a decreased attack. I like all this ignoring the target's res. That's very cool. And they've definitely set him up to be a Unity style champion. I don't know what evade is. I'm not sure I've seen that before, but I assume it's some sort of dodge. So the more attack, the more shield. That's a pretty cool idea. Accuracy aura. Pretty cool. And we get the 5-star. Okay, that's simple, actually. That makes life very, very easy. Are they all in Bannerlords? No. Interesting. Oh, there she was. April. Oh, I'm trying to think who that reminds me of. It could be just about anyone. A lot of debuffs. With some steals. Okay. She's actually pretty cool. Very high utility. We'll check more out of her in a bit with an arena aura. So let's dive into, I want to see the event dungeon. There's going to be so many reviews on everything else. Let's check out the event dungeon. I'm going to use exactly the same team that I've got through every other event dungeon with, which is just ally attack and nuke. Hello to whoever's in the chat. So let's just go for the obvious. I will just, do I have a team for it? No, we'll make a team for it. What I really want is probably going to be Marius, because why not? These low stages won't actually matter. I will want Mikage for or any kind of ally attack. I usually like to bring Wukong for the DPS and the buff strip. I would like to find Phenax in case we need to block revive. He's handy. And someone that brings decreased defense on an A1, so I would probably run with the fusion Rathalos, Blade Master. And that will be the turn attack order. So let's just blitz through it. Let's see what we can do. We need to get rid of that. We'll do that and then we'll look at the loot pool and see kind of what's happening with the sets. But these will all just be like 5-second fights. We probably won't run into an issue of tactics until we hit at least sort of stage 15, 20. So I'm just going to burn the energy and just get us through this so that we can start to look at what the fight is. I've got some spare energy saved up so we can just blitz through this. There we go. At least we know everything up to stage 4 is very easy so far. It's going to be one-shotting for now. Ally attack and just 4 DPS is going to get you through probably everything up to stage 20. That's usually the case in these event dungeons. Okay, so now we get ads. That's more interesting. I don't think this is going to be hard. Hi to everyone that's watching. We're just checking out the new Ninja Turtle update. I don't really know what's going to happen yet. Rather than going over the champions and, you know, what they do, I thought I'd start by just blitzing through the event dungeon because I just want to hit the point where it gets to the point where you need tactics. Because so far, that's not the case. And then we'll have a proper look at what he does. I just saw a bit of the new gear set there. I should have clicked on it, but I didn't see it. Okay, we're coming up to stage 10. Unfortunately, there's no quick way of doing this, so I do apologize. It's not very exciting, but we will get there. Okay, that's the new variable set right there, chronophage. So it's all to do with reduction of cooldowns and reducing the effect of reduction of cooldowns. With this new buff here called immutable. But we'll go into it a bit more later. Right, now we've got 4 ads on the boss. And he's still just dying with the ally attack. Stage 12. Like I say, I think we're going to get to stage 20 or close to 20, and then we're going to get hit with tactics. I just want to get there as quick as possible. This is an interesting collab. There were rumors of this. It's got to be nearly a year ago now that someone mentioned Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So it's clearly been in the works for a long time. They probably just struggled to get the IP rights. There'll be some really good videos coming out in the next sort of hour or so from all the big top content creators because they would have had access to this for a little while. They just weren't allowed to talk about it. So they've probably done a lot of showcase videos. There'll probably be guides on this boss as well. Right, what we got. Okay, so there's definitely something here where when he's under veil, he really doesn't take any damage. Let's turn off that and just have a look. So he's got a 3-hitter A1 that ignores defense on the 2nd and 3rd hits. And they deal a lot of crit damage, so he's going to hurt when he hits, that's fair. With an AoE and destroys your own defense, kind of makes sense. And he's healing himself on every crit that he hits on you, and he can put leech out on you And obviously he's got his veil. It'll be something in the passive. Okay, so if you hit him for more than 20% of his health, then he gets a veil. And whilst he's under veil, some of his stuff can't be resisted. Yep, okay. Okay, it's not overly complex. Let's just have a look. So he gets... So evade is dodge, then he goes under veil. So if he hits us under veil, he's going to debuff us. Okay, it will probably make more sense in a few stages time where it gets difficult. Can't really quite work out what he's doing yet. I would also hazard a guess that this boss is going to be easier than Kurosa, because a lot of people complained at Kurosa being too difficult. Also, Kurosa's a mythical, he's a legendary. They probably got a lot, or they did get a lot of bad feedback because they actually nerfed the last boss after the 4-week mark. Right, so I'm guessing as of the next stage, we will start to get tactics. So let's just try and Zerg it, and then we'll see from there. No? Interesting. I wonder if it does work a little bit like Kurosa, where the things only happen when the ads die. Because that time we got a lot of his health down in one hit. And that wasn't happening on the lower stages. So what's it doing? Let's... So if we block his buff, can he still veil? That's going to be the question. No, he can't. Okay, well that's going to be quite an easy answer to beating him to an extent, is put block buffs on him, and then he can't dodge your attacks. Not bad. Curious to see what stage we get to before we actually have to learn the tactics, because it will happen. So block buffs, and then just knock him down. Okay. Maybe at stage 30, he's going to be really, really tricky. Going to find some saved energy. Okay, here are our events for the fusion. Nothing starts till tomorrow. Oh no, we've got Dungeon Divers in 2.5 minutes. So normally I wouldn't waste resources by keep going, but we're just going to do it until it starts. And it's kicking off with an Ice Golem tournament. Nobody wants to do Ice Golem. Not anymore. Getting some energy from rewards. Got it. Nothing good in the shop, but always buy your green shards. Always buy your green shards. There's no more news. There's nothing going on. We're now just essentially waiting for the thing to start. So why don't we have a little look at what it's actually saying about the boss? Because so far we've got to stage 23 and we haven't actually used any tactics. So we've learned what his 3 core skills are. It's definitely something about this here. Okay, so it seems like multi-hit champions are actually really good for this, mainly because of this. Whenever a champion loses 20% of their max, sorry, whenever the boss loses in one attack, has a 100% chance to evade the next attack. And when he does evade, he puts the veil on himself. And obviously when he's got the veil, you can't resist his debuffs. If we always go before he takes a turn, we might not actually have to deal with that at all, which could be pretty good. I don't know. So far, he seems quite simple, but I guess it does depend on what ads appear next to him. If he spawns ads that have interesting counterattack mechanics, then that could kind of burn us. I don't think that would be good. Who else was I going to look at? What I was trying to do was find all the turtles. There's got to be one in Lizardmen. Yeah, so Donnie is in Lizardmen. That's cool. You're going to be heal based. That's very cool. That's a skill that really reminds me of... Ooh, I'm not going to think of his name. One of the partnership champions. This guy, Astralon. No, not Astralon. It's his partner. Countess Lix with the... Yeah, decreases the cooldown of all ally skills when they attack. That's pretty cool. Just trying to find the rest of the turtles now. In a weird way, I am surprised that Donatello wasn't a void. I wondered if, with him having purple accessories, it would actually make sense to have made him void. Might have missed a little trick there. Shadowkin, that's probably where we're going to find... Oh, so there isn't... They made Leonardo void. That is an interesting choice. That's an incredibly interesting choice. I wouldn't have done that. Especially for a defense-based champion. He's Unity. That is interesting. So they're essentially trying to funnel us into creating full teams of Ninja Turtles, which is good if they're good. They might not be good. And it looks like you can use duplicates if you happen to pull dupes. That's very weird. I don't know where I stand on that, but we are Dungeon Divers live now, so we can go back into the event. And for anyone that's watching or has started watching, we're just trying to see how far we can get without using tactics. So we're just going for ally attack and just smack. But okay, so that's the dodge or evade that he does. Yeah, I don't know. The champions look cool because they're Ninja Turtles. Like, how are they not going to look cool? But it's going to be a bit of a game of collecting them all. I think if anyone was around for the Monster Hunter event, I think this is going to be Monster Hunter 2.0. And the sad thing about Monster Hunter is once the event was done, there's only really 2 champions I think people even use to this day. So hopefully this doesn't fall prey to the exact same thing. Finally, he hit us back and he hit really hard. Okay, here we go. This is more fun. This is way more fun. Okay, so stage 25, he started to kill us. So we'll see if we can do 26. And if not, we'll probably actually have to build a proper team for him. Which would be good, because you shouldn't just be able to Zerg it. Like, that would be kind of boring for everyone involved. Oh yeah, all sorts of control now. Okay, finally. We've hit a point where it's hard. Sorry for the noise, I'm just unboxing something. Okay, finally we lose. That is more interesting. Okay, so we can easily farm stage 25. That's good because I believe there's only 30 stages. There are. And after 25, the boss seems to have the same level. Interesting. So what happened there? He clapped back and we got hit. So I think we're going to bring in some form of control. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to see if we can mess with turn meter. We're going to get rid of one DPS and we're going to replace him with Armand's, and then we'll start to get rid of the other DPS. Not entirely sure what happened there because I was a bit distracted. Right, ally attack, that's fine. It did pretty much nothing. So Marius could go in with buff removal, but we're not going to just yet. See how much turn meter we can reduce. But then they get, that's this champion. I don't have him, but he does that to me all the time. Let's turn you into a sheep. Let's get block buffs up. So now Shredder, in theory, shouldn't be able to evade. Go for a nuke. Didn't do a lot. Go for another nuke. Okay, adds are down. We can't manipulate the boss's turn meter, but that's normal. The true fears that are out are, oh, ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch. Just double check. We can't. Hopefully this will just bring him. So does this mean the next hit I do, he'll evade? No. And we can't manipulate his turn meter? No. Okay, he does hit pretty hard. So we no longer need. We don't need this guy anymore. What we need is someone to keep us alive. Or to handle the true fears, because they're really annoying. So we could look at, I don't think Armand's did anything there. What we're going to do is we're going to bring in Shamail just to test wherever he is. There he is. We've got enough DPS in Marius and Sun Wukong. We need a healer. I'm going to try someone like maybe Duchess. Try with Duchess. Don't quite understand what the boss is doing yet. Put it on auto, see what the AI wants to do. I do think we should open with Marius's big hit. Get some protected buffs on ourselves. I want to see how they're handled. Block buffs everyone else. We need to kill Pythian because he's going to cleanse everyone. We'll do that. This guy's really annoying. I don't know his name. But when you debuff the enemy, he puts block buffs on them. Or block debuff, sorry. Ooh. Might now consider getting rid of Mikage because there's no point in ally attacking anymore. Ouch. It's whether we can take many more hits from the boss. Nope. Not many. Okay, let's try again. It's a weird one. It's a very weird one. So I'm going to now guess he's going to evade the next attack. No, see, I don't understand how the evade works, because we did 20% worth of damage. Okay. I think we're going to get him down. It doesn't look like he revives ads, so once the ads are down, that's about 99% of the problems down. I have also just noticed, if I take it off of auto, we've got champions in the background. That's Aboro, who's a Shadowkin. I'm trying to work out who the rest of them are. And I wonder if that bears any resemblance later. So I think now we're going to get rid of Mikage. And we're going to bring in... We need some control. Maybe another... Or a dedicated debuffer. Let's try Lydia. Lydia makes a lot of sense because there's True Fears flying around as well. I know for anyone watching, I could just read the description and work out how to do this boss that way, but there is no fun in that whatsoever. We now have new ads. We've got Shuzen. And with the Marius, not Marius, God, I can't think of his name. That one, the Shadowkin, that reduces our effectiveness at DPS. Oh, this is going to hurt. As soon as Shuzen goes, she's going to put an instant turn on someone. Arima is the person I'm thinking of. Oh, that did nothing. That did nothing. I'm worried about this one. Yeah, that's a big hit. Okay, I like this fight more now because it's ads. Hey, good one, Anders. That's, yeah, level 20 is good. For most of the event dungeons we've had so far, I have actually just farmed level 20. I'm only trying to go for 30 just to work out what it's all about. But I don't expect to hit 30. I've got a late game, endish sort of game account, but I am not endgame. I cannot finish Cursed City on hard. And I don't really think you can call yourself endgame until you can do Faction Wars and Cursed City on hard. I can't do that. If we've managed to make it, I don't know what stage this is, like 27 or something. As it stands, I was quite happy with farming stage 20, and I was happy with farming stage 25. We don't need to go too much harder than that, I don't think. But these ads are hard. That's a very tricky combination of ads that they put in there. We need to get the buffs away. I don't mind being left with this one. She doesn't do a lot, but I think her passive will reduce how much damage the boss is taking. We just need to buff up. So if you can survive the ads, hey, for 160 days, if you're doing stage 20, you're going to be absolutely fine. God, it took me like 2.5 years to get anywhere in this game. If you ever think you have bad shard luck, I didn't pull a legendary for... That was like 2.5 years, I think, was when I got my first legendary, and it was a terrible first legendary. I think I read reviews, and I don't actually think I ever even built them. And if you want to know who that was Pixneal, who is arguably still the worst legendary in the game. Yeah, it was major ouch. It was, but yeah. Whereas one of my friends, like good friends, have just started their own account because they saw that I was making YouTube videos and they went, come on, I'll support you. I'll make a raid account. And he got, not Duchess, Siffy. He got Siffy on day 5, as well as using my promo code. So he got a bunch of legendaries. He also, there's a promo code for the monkey. He got that. And yeah. So Siffy, Sun Wukong, Elenaro, and I can't remember the other one, but to be less than, sorry, I'm dropping everything. To be less than a week in and have that is absolutely wild. So we could do 28. Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to try next, is locking out the enemies. I was just trying to see how far we could go without tactics, but now that we're here, and I'm not going to move on to 29 yet, I'm actually going to try 28 with tactics. And like you say, lockout is the answer. I'm tempted to bring Armands back in. If I keep Lydia, I can get rid of Shamail because of the fears. Another option I'm considering is using like a bomb champion, a couple of ally attackers and a bomber. It just depends how the boss handles bomb damage. I'm not entirely sure yet. That didn't go very well. That didn't go very well at all. We didn't reduce any turn meter. Next, we'll try Fabian, see if we can just put all their skills on cooldown. I don't know. I think stage 28 is probably going to be my go-to so far. We're always looking for 100% teams, not anything but. The damage isn't crazy. Back one sec. But yes, whoever recommended that in the comments, I do believe that lockout is probably the way forward, because the ad choice is tricky. It's a good synergy of ads. Also, sometimes a weird tip from me, if you're ever trying to do a fight and you can't quite do it, I kind of learned this from Arena. If you happen to have the champions that are in the lineup, sometimes using the exact same team against your opponents is a good idea. So I don't actually have, I've got Harima. I did turn the game sound off, mate, because it's bloody annoying. I don't know who else to try. Let's try Harima instead of him. And then we'll try push to 30. Just if we can get ahead. Okay, we can't get ahead. We're just going to get wrecked. No provokes. Okay, so something in there is preventing. Maybe it's an accuracy thing. I do not know. Yeah, Russ, it's really annoying and the screen shakes as well, so I had to turn all that off. I do not get this at all. Yeah, I'm thinking he will. I was just thinking that I don't have Odin. But in the same vein as what I was saying about sometimes using the exact same team to fight the enemy, Odin being a previous event dungeon boss would probably be really good for this, because the strip and stun would be really good. Let's try 29, although I'm not feeling this team. Tactics. There's probably someone really obvious that I'm missing. I don't sheep her. Let's do that. But yeah, so far Odin would be a good shout. Maybe the reason my CC wasn't landing was accuracy. Arima's a nightmare. Yeah, this guy and the one shots, that's kind of evil. And the true fear. Okay, so that's fine. If Wukong keeps dying, that's fine, because he comes back. Once the ad's down, it's easy. But let's think. Group stuns. Another thing we could try just for a laugh is maybe a poison team. See if we can get the ads down with poison. But we'll definitely die. Unless the ads change for the final stage. No, it's still the same. I just want to try that, just to see if we can. Surely they won't let us just troll the boss. What else would we need? We'd need heals. Let's try just a healer. Don't know if we're going to be fast enough to make this work. Yeah, and stick with 20. I don't think there's any need to go further. Let's see. Oh, I see. The poisons don't do anything. Not enough. See, if you've got Odin, try him. I think he might be the answer. I also think what was her name? The Queen of Hearts legendary from the Alice event. She could probably be quite handy in this as well. Just any previous event will probably have essentially been procured to get this boss down. We have got further than I thought we would. If we can get rid of... It's the resistance. So it's got to be 550 accuracy, I think, because my Wukong's about 510. And he can't strip the buffs. Yeah, so you can't even put sheep on him. Interesting. It's not easy, but I don't think it's crazy hard. All I know is that we're going to all lose our money trying to chase the turtles. It's quite hard. I still think they missed such a massive trick by not making Donatello the Void. And I would guess one of the champs, one of the 4 turtles, is going to be incredibly hard to obtain. If it's the same as any of the previous events, he's going to be incredibly hard to get. Overlax is down, but we have revives. This is definitely not going to be the final team because we don't want to spend like 3.5 minutes doing it every time. Okay, so that's stage 30 done. That is the event dungeon. It weird. I'm a little bit disappointed, to be perfectly honest, because we didn't really use tactics, and to kill the final stage in like an hour is a bit weak. What the clan are saying. Nothing. Just scanning them for any news. Yep, that's what I would do, Anders. Just take it easy. The new gear set is not great, or not that it's not great, it's just it's incredibly niche. And I think the only people that are going to end up using it are going to be sort of high-end, like live arena guys. Yeah, I don't think it's a particularly good set. And also, if we look at the bonuses, we're not getting a whole lot of speed. So in terms of, is this dungeon worth farming? Probably not. I'd actually argue so far no. There's not a whole lot of reason to actually go in and do it. I think the point of the event is, so whilst I just crapped on it and said it wasn't very good, there's 2 real positives to any event. And one is, like we are at the moment when we're in a fusion, obviously things like dungeon divers, the points requirements now in 2025 compared to even a couple of years ago are crazy, like 3,700. It used to be like 2,500. And you now definitely get less sort of points per fight. So the good thing about the event dungeon is it's a place to kind of waste your energy. Because if we look at Ice Golem here, to get the maximum reward for this tournament when it loads up is probably what, 2,250? Okay, so 2,250. Once you've got that, you're essentially stuck waiting for the next tournament to start. And I found in previous fusions, what you end up doing is sort of going back into Ice Golem or just any other dungeon and blowing all your energy there. The nice thing about the event dungeon is it means you can, you know, essentially spend in 2 places at once. It just sort of allows you to double dip your points without wasting them on rubbish. Because obviously what would be really nice is if we could take champs into somewhere like Minotaur or Sand Devil, places like that, where we could get beneficial stuff for our energy, but fusions don't allow you to do that. But I kind of feel like they've whiffed it a bit here because there's no pinpoint. If pinpoint was here as well, we'd be in there. All right, Rat, welcome. But the fact that we got stage 30 with only 1 wipe, and that I think the wipe was at stage 26, it's not overly hard. And I can't really, like, so the gear set's pretty crap. But it, yeah, I don't know. In answer to your question, I don't really know what the point of the event dungeon is. Maybe to kind of add some exclusivity to Shredder, because that's going to be what everyone really wants. Is it's going to be him. I don't know. But so far, that is, yeah, I'm just a little bit disappointed because I went at it with no tactics. Yeah, the event dungeon's live. And we've just beat stage 30. And it was kind of easy. But what else have we got? We've got our chase, and I think they've given us the right champ for the chase. He seems kind of cool. I like how there's unity between all the champions. There's going to definitely be something along the lines of maybe like a Hydra team dedicated specifically to turtles. Who else is up here? Yeah, I'm incredibly surprised they made Donatello the fusion. But I can't complain because the last 3 fusions I have complained that they were just DPS. So at least we get something that isn't. I just wish he was void. It seems crazy. Why is he not purple? Why is he not void? Let's get some more energy and see if we can find other stupid ways of taking down the event dungeon. Yeah, I would argue this is, if it wasn't turtles, I wouldn't go for it. And ironically, and this will get me a lot of hate, I didn't even really like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when I was a kid. I kind of got more into it as I was a bit older. I agree, mate. I do think that the best one is the free one. Did we get any news whether we got Splinter? Because that seems like a missed trick. I mean, I'm sure he'd be in Skinwalkers if he was anywhere. Surely they haven't done Turtles without Splinter. That would be absolutely crazy. Don't know why I'm looking in dwarves. I don't know why I'd find any of them in dwarves, but I don't know. I'm not seeing a Splinter. Russell, mate, it would, and you'd be broke in weeks. Absolutely broke in weeks. Yeah, yeah, the free one and dip. I think that's probably the logic. But I'm now just annoyed that there's no Splinter. How is there no Splinter? That's bad. But we did get the Doris, what's her name? April O'Neil. They've kind of made her very arena heavy. But she's also got this evade mechanic here, which is like the dodge that Shredder has. I don't know, maybe all of my fear that this game, well, this patch was going to bankrupt me, it's not overly exciting at the moment. I mean, Donatello's cool, but yeah, Whale Fest. Complete and utter Wallet Fest. Okay, let's see if we can just do the boss with stupid teams, because there's got to be a way of making it fun. I might maybe not do state. We have to do 30, don't we? Come on, stop being a fairy. How can we make this boss really intentionally difficult for ourselves? What happens if we bomb it? Can we just bomb the boss? Maybe. Let's go. Let's go bomb and poison. We're going to die. We're so going to die. I will keep the speed aura, but the attack would... Yeah, no, we're going to keep the attack, or we're going to die, but it'll be good. Yeah, I swear, Russ, if I wasn't playing this, that's exactly what I would be playing. And then Battlefield 6 is going to come out and change everything for a couple of weeks until I realise I'm really bad at it. Like, did we get bombs out? We did get bombs out on everyone. Is it going to be enough to kill them? No. Wow. Okay, they've got a lot of health. Oh, they got a lot of health. Hasn't one of these got activation? More bombs. I don't actually argue this is going better than the real team we put together. Why has he got intercept? That's what I don't understand. Yes, the boss got intercept. Did he nick it off me? This is crazy if we can beat stage 30 with just the troll team. And it'd be slow. But it's kind of fun. I'm trying to think if we could bring in a third bomber or ally attack and bombs maybe to make it quicker. Interesting. I didn't actually play it. I was really busy that weekend. I watched some videos on it, but interesting. I don't, yeah. I think the problem is when I play Battlefield, it reminds me how not good at Battlefield I am. I was playing it last night and I jumped into just one of the AI games because every time I jumped into a real server, I just got wrecked. I'm not fast enough anymore for it. I like games like this where I can just sit down and wait. I've got lazy in my old age. This freaking Kyoku's pissing me off now. She dies, we can actually get the boss down. He's still got my intercept stack. That's really annoying. Not that it actually makes a difference, but I want it back. Mate, I feel that old. You put a PlayStation controller in my hand and put me against like actual people that can play games with good reflexes, and no, I feel ancient. I've hit that age where I run around the corner, there's a corridor full of enemies, and instead of hitting the trigger, I just flinch and then, yeah, get killed that way. Oh, we're not going to do this, are we? Not without getting some bombs out. Hey, I would love one kill death ratio. In the server I jumped into, I died so many times I just quit. I didn't even get a kill. We're so not doing this. Not without revives. Come on. We've got to get this little asshole down before she puts up. She's going to do it again. She's going to put up a block damage. Yep. Ugh. Which is fine if we've got someone in the team alive. Wow. We just get fucked. Sorry, I shouldn't swear, but it's getting ridiculous. Yeah, see, I think we hit a point where it's just like, no, I'm not playing crazy reflex reaction games. I'm just going to sit and play a nice, I guess you'd call this like an idle game. Until we're not getting, Kyoku's health is actually going up as the fight goes on. This is crazy. If anyone has just tuned in, like, we do know what we're doing. Like, we're just running a troll test to see if we can get this boss down with a stupid team. Like, we have taken 30 down already. I also think the boss is ramping up his damage. Is there... Like, that is a strong Duchess. She's crazy, crazy strong. And if he's smacking her for like 70% HP each hit. He's not under a veil, so he's not ignoring defense. He's hitting really, really, really hard. All we need is to just get a turn off. Ooh. Also, it has got the awakened weakness, and most of these champs are high awakening. Oh, we haven't got any. We just want to do damage one time. Yeah, Ross, it is. I played mobile for ages and then switched to PC later. I must warn you, like, as a friend, this game will ruin your life. It has completely ruined my life. I think to say I play about 6 hours a day is probably under egging it. And for a long time, the game will not look like this for you. It's a long old slog to get to this point. I'm going to quit this run because we're never going to get it down. And we're going to try something else. Yeah, rat. Kyoku frickin' sucks. Like, she has been. Why are we not ending the run? Good. Yeah, Kyoku is killing me. So trolling didn't work. But I do quite like the Calvalax. Now, it would only be right if we trolled it a little bit more and brought in the other Calvalax, just for giggles, and maybe I want to bring in Nell, but we also want to survive. I'm going to try Fabian, because I want to see what happens if we can lock the other team out. He's got enough accuracy to lock everyone out. So we'll buff up. We've got no actual DPS in this team now, so once the poisons run out, we are going to kind of need to extend them. So I'm just going to A1 the boss and hope that something happens, and it didn't. But Kyoku is the biggest problem. It's not being able to control her is going to be the test. I don't know if it's just a me thing, but I'm having a lot of problem actually like clicking on the boss. There aren't enough poisons to kill everyone. So double Calvalax, whilst it's a fun team, it's not going to work. We'll probably end up having to exit this one. And in come the True Fears. True Fears can go through block buffs. Block debuffs, sorry. Yeah, I can't bother. So this dungeon's kind of buggy. Every time I try and quit, it clicks on continue. Weird. I now actually can't remember what team we built to beat it with, which is really stupid of me. I think it was Lydia, Duchess. Was it Armand's? Marius, probably. I've already forgotten. I'm going to have to rewatch this live stream. That is such a fail. I can't remember what else we did. Maybe Wukong. Was it Wukong? Let's just try and get another victory, because this is bad. The fact that none of their turn meter is being reduced, I'm not sure if that's a boss mechanic, whether it's... Surely they're not resisting, because he's got like 800 accuracy. Cool, thank you. I would have absolutely forgotten that. At least with this team comp, it is essentially just operation get the ads down and then the boss is easy. Whereas I think with the sort of troll teams I was trying to put together, it's kind of making everything difficult. That's a problem. He's taking out the Duchess. Ooh. What happens if we switch those two? I like this increased cooldown because it means no more issue from Kyoku. We could maybe try something about passive skills, which would stop Harima being a pain. This guy hits hard though. He hits really hard. It's probably worth controlling him. Yeah, I was thinking Romantu, or even Carnage. I'm just looking at the affinity, so Romantu is probably better. But yeah, Carnage popped to mind and Romantu. I might need to rebuild my Romantu to do that. Are these champs actually immune to CC? That was stupid. I hit the wrong champ. Right, we just need to kill. They got a lot of health. But this is the guy that's bothering me, the DPS on the team. I don't care about the Harima. Yeah, I think next fight we'll try bringing in Romantu. I don't dislike this squad. I think I prefer Fabian to Armands. Because the only reason I'd want Armands over Fabian is to reduce the turn meter, but I can't seem to reduce their turn meter. So I think Fabian's instantly stronger. Right, we should be able to auto this now, as long as Duchess doesn't die. That's a much bigger hit. Oh, that is a rough hit when he actually does it. All right, he's down again. Okay. I am forgetful, so I'm just going to turn that into a team. And just remember that that's... Because I will forget. Would I sacrifice Fabian for Romantu? That's kind of the... Is my Romantu even built? He might survive. But this guy here... Oh no, it was a counter attack. Yeah, so he's actually faster than my Romantu. So my Romantu is at 290. Oh, bloody hell. Well, that's kind of screwed us. So I'm guessing these adds a 300 speed. Romantu has got a turn, but he is under True Fear. Yeah, he got True Feared. That's not going to work. I think I preferred Fabian. Just but that speed. Is there anything we can do to him to make him fast quickly? Also resistance. Because he nicked all my buffs that time, and I can only guess it was from Romantu. Let's just check what everyone else's resistance is. Duchess 500, Wukong 230, so that's low. Fabian 370. Okay, maybe it wasn't Romantu. We just need to get a turn. What happens if we get rid of Lydia? That's disgusting. I won't even be able to put it on the screen. I don't think you'd see it, but it's the new world record for stage 30 was done in 3 seconds with a Siegfried, a Romantu, and a Shuzen. That's another way to look at this. You could just do a splash damage team. Damn, that's incredibly fast to get that. Right, Romantu take a turn. Block passives on everyone. Oh yeah, but it doesn't block actives. I actually reckon Carnage might be a better choice, but the legendary DPS is a pain. Who can we annoy? Actually, yeah, maybe we don't need Lydia. Maybe we will go Romantu. Thank you, Paul. That might have actually been a really good idea. Oh, it went sheep. Ugh. Fail. As soon as the ads are down, we can hit auto. Don't sheep him. Oh, yeah. Cool. Right, hit auto, and then that hopefully we can conclude that this boss is not overly difficult. It's just a little bit fiddly. If anyone actually just won that 6-star soul for Romantu in the latest champ event that we had, I think that puts him right at the top of the list for this. How fast is Carnage? No, he's not fast enough. Well, that's the event dungeon. We've got it for 10.5 weeks. I don't know. I don't know what everyone is thinking about this set, because I don't want it to be like Pinpoint where I ignored it for so long and then I ended up staying up for about 48 hours at the end of the event to farm as much of it as I could. But Pinpoint seems more viable than Chronophage. Unfortunately, we now have to do Ice Golem for the fusion. Training tomorrow, that's fine. Enhancement tomorrow. Yeah, that is a stats wise, that's solid. That's a lot faster than mine. But I think with these bosses, this is at Paul, by the way, he just sent me a picture. Um, it's that affinity awakening boost thing that you get. I will just literally just go to a really low stage to show you, so it doesn't take long. I can't remember what it was called. Oh, it's not even on this. But yeah, the more stars your champs have, the less damage the boss can do, and the more damage you do to the boss. So yeah, my Romantu's at 2-star, 3-star. I think anything over 5 is where it becomes viable. It's a bit like Live Arena. I'm just checking out that calendar now. So tomorrow afternoon is Champ Chase. That's better than Summon Rush. Let's see if we can get that up. Why is the event's not even in the news? That's really bad, Plarium. Right, if I just stick some background teams on for this, I'm going to do Ice Golem Hard 1 because I've just got essentially a troll team that can just nuke it down. Bit of energy in there. And that can just background. And I still haven't found all the turtles. Yes, because he's right there. Oh no, we've already got Michelangelo. He's the login. Is anyone in High Elves? Sacred Orders April. There he is. I missed him. Oh, that's got Phoenix written all over it, hasn't it? Block revive on a A1. With a Berserk. That's... See, looking at this kit, I think he's really cool. I still think Phoenix is better. And a more usable affinity. Weird, I'd like to see the fusion calendar though. Yeah, I wouldn't. So, Anders, I wouldn't be looking at this fight as something like a Stone Skin Lethal style. It's definitely not that kind of fight. It's just anything to rip. Well, I guess it depends what stage you're doing, but anything after 25, it's definitely a control set type thing. I mean, I didn't use them in that fight because of affinity, but if you've watched any of my videos before, you'll know that I'm a massive advocate for Arix. Because obviously Arix, A, she's free, and B, on her A2, she's got stun. And if you put the right mastery on her, which I think is this one here, you can get a leech when you place the stun, which would keep you alive. So there probably is an argument somewhere that Arix could potentially solo this boss, but only the whole time that the ads are up. But yeah, I think sets that are more like, or maybe it isn't even a set thing, it's just all about control. But the boss hits very hard, and so does that. I don't know who he is, that ad. That's, I'm sure he was Shadowkin. And he was blue affinity. It was Tetsuya. Oh, so he's a faction unity, that's why he's hitting so hard. Also explains why he was so fast. Okay, that's what was killing me. Because obviously he's got Kyoku in there, Harima. So it is you're fighting a full Shadowkin team. I hadn't considered that. That was a miss by me. Are there any champs that do damage to... How many days did you say you were into the game, Anders? It might be that you haven't got Arix yet. I think you get her after like 2 years of playing. But I think protection set is really good for this fight. My Duchess is in 9 protection. I've had to drop a lot of stats to do it. Like, she's nowhere near as tanky as I want her to be. But in 9 piece, that just meant that the boss couldn't steal those block buffs. Or block debuffs, I always get them confused. Because that run we did where all the buffs just got ripped off of us and put on the boss, that was... I just ended it because there was no point. Yeah, day 163. So I think Arix is 270. I want to say 270. No, 270 is Vizix, which would... No, sorry, I'm completely wrong. Arix is day 760, I think. Yeah, sorry, that's a really long way away. I think it's 760 or 720. It's definitely around about the 2-year mark. But you can pull her from a shard. If I'm not mistaken, she can be pulled from shards. I don't think Arix is in here. No, you can pull Arix from a shard. Yeah, sorry, that's my bad. That's a long that's a long way away. 2-year mark. But no, I would say stick with stage 20. The loot isn't exactly screaming amazing. And after stage 20, yeah, already at stage 20 you're in 5 to 6 star territory, so you know, I'd rather do stage 20 in 8 seconds than have to spend 2.5 minutes doing stage 30. I assume you can get... So you can get mythical, but only after probably stage 25. So 26 plus is mythical. However, with what's it called? With Pinpoint and the last event dungeon, I was farming 28 and I only got about... And I was farming the absolute hell out of that dungeon, like thousands of energy every day. And I only walked away with about 4 mythical artifacts, so I think there's a stronger case for farming stage 20. But that's because I don't quite understand this variable set yet. Pinpoint, I could think of 100 different champions to put it on. Chronophage, I can think of like 2. Yeah, just save. Just save. Honestly, if I wasn't doing videos and YouTube, I probably wouldn't go for the fusion. Especially after I spent all my shards. I'm not mad about Donatello being the fusion, but I'm a bit mad that he's not Void. I know I've said that about 11 times now on this stream, but that just seems like such a miss. That is 15% every time he takes a turn on a heal. And if he's activating continuous heals, there's probably a fair bit of unity there. Someone like Senna, is it Apardin? It's weird. It's like they haven't been overly original with what the champions do. Because this here... kind of reminds me, is it Freya that does the same thing? Where they just keep the champ alive on 1 HP. I don't know, he's not screaming must do to me. He's actually really not. I mean, I'm going to do him anyway because it's Ninja Turtles. And arguably, Donatello was my favourite out of the Ninja Turtles, so I can't really complain there, but why are you not a Void? Oh, right, good stuff, and I hope that you do get that down. I was actually having a look at that for you again today, because I think the biggest problem with the team that I recommended is affinity. Because you've got 2 really good force affinity champs, and you're trying to do a spirit affinity stage. Which has pros in some ways because the spiderlings are always going to attack someone that's force affinity. So if you were to bring in Drexstar as your burner and provoker, then they're always going to attack him, but they're always going to hit him really hard because of affinity. It's just whether that can buy you enough time to get the boss down whilst that's going on. It's, yeah, it's tricky. I mean, it's been so long since I've done stage 20, because I remember being on stage 25 for a really, really long time. And I did 25 because of affinity, because I was using Cecilia and I was using Drexstar, so it was kind of the same team. But it's how many burns you can keep cycling whilst the boss is healing, whilst you're also keeping yourself alive. I mean, what I recommended to you probably wouldn't have been a fast team. But, I mean, it does come to a point where you just nuke it down, but not at your level of account. It might be worth, though, checking, and you'd be essentially looking into old videos, but trying to think who would have had a really good guide for stage 20 Spider. Maybe someone like Hell Hades, because when he was like really in the prime of his content, it's sort of was before hard mode came out. And burning, if I'm not mistaken, burning was kind of the way to go, and you've got two really amazing burners in your team. And I would have thought that using two of them side by side, you are going to essentially land the burns. But how far are you with something like Fire Knight? Because obviously Fire Knight gives regen gear. Regen gear might help you through that unless there's a healer. I mean, I know you've got Neve, or as everyone calls her, Niam. She's going to be... Where's Neve? Yeah. Like, Neve's probably going to be the thing that saves you through it. Yeah, I think if you genuinely went onto YouTube and typed in Spider 20, like guide or team, because it's really hard for me to demonstrate it, because now we've got like Awakening and our champions are all kind of crazy. So if you can do stage 20 Fire Knight, there probably is an argument there to farm some regen gear, but you'll move on. Once you hit stage 20 Spider and you move forward a little bit, you kind of jump almost straight into hard mode. Select this, nothing good there. I'm just going to see if I've got any other spare saved up energy. But I think it's fair to say the event dungeon wasn't overly exciting. It's kind of fun making troll teams, but we're not going to be trolling it. We're going to be kind of farming it. We've got energy. We'll go back into that. I'm just trying to think, like, roster wise. So you're looking at, it's a spirit affinity boss. So we want to be looking at obviously spirit and magic champions. Syl would be a good shout. She's a solid team support. And Arbiter is really good. You'll get to a point where you just don't use Arbiter anymore, but she'll be one of the main kind of characters on your account for a good 2 years. Yeah, in terms of available champions, I mean, my carry for my entire account, even until about a year ago, was actually Deacon. Because obviously turn meter increase for you, decrease for them, as well as the AoE, decrease defense, and also I think his A1 has got a leech. It does. So you could argue he's kind of partly healer as well. Like, Deacon was the lead spot in every team I had. Clan boss, Hydra, everything. Every dungeon. because I just never got any good champs before then. I have got a picture of your roster, so I will. Let's pull it up, see if I can. Have a look what you're working with. I mean, you've even got Valkyrie, which, you know, shields whilst you're taking damage, but it's that weird fine line between doing enough damage and surviving enough damage that the boss's health actually continues to go down, because obviously in Spider it heals. But yeah, Valkyrie putting up a shield and saving you from dying might be an option. I know you've got Alice as kind of your sort of headline DPS, and I do have her, but I've never ever used her. I did the event for her, but I've never booked her, I've never done masteries or skills or anything. But yeah, I'd argue she's a little bit more PvP focused, because you can't reduce the skills of the spider. Who's in leaders? Nothing. This clan here, this 314, we just fought them in Siege and they absolutely spanked us. Because Siege matchmaking is broken. Yeah, this clan absolutely just devastated us. It was horrible. Just checking time. I am going to have to run out in a minute, guys. Got to go out. Got about 5 minutes left. I just really wanted to see what we could do with that event dungeon, and we did it. Begrudgingly, we did it. But I don't think it's as good as the pinpoint one. Yeah, see, right, with yeah, so the thing about Tholin is I was really unfair in my review of Tholin. I did a review of, like, it was one of the first videos I did on my channel, where I just sort of said, he's really not very good, he's just a DPS. And then I used him in Hydra, and he's really, really good. So once again, it's a shame that Tholin is Force Affinity. Otherwise, he would be your Spider 20 guy. It wasn't... I hadn't considered, because it's been so long, that Stage 20 Spider is so difficult for a newer account, because all of the good champs that you get given at the moment are Force. I don't suppose you were playing long enough that you got Wukong? Because I think Wukong is a pretty good Spider champ. You do have him. Did I see that on the... Am I just blind? Of course he is. Sorry, he's right at the top of the picture you sent me. Sorry, mate. Yeah, Wukong. See, I'm working on another video at the moment, which I'm going to try and do later tonight, which is going to be if Raid deleted my account and said you can only have 5 champions and you have to only use those 5 champions, I decided that Wukong was actually my #1 pick, because he's PvE, PvP, control, and DPS, and he's got built-in survival. There potentially is an argument for Wukong to be really solid in Spider, because if he dies, if you build him weak, like really high attack, high crit damage, but weak, then maybe he'll get targeted by the spiders, and every time he dies, he'll come back with full turn meter, so speed you wouldn't even need to build speed into him. It's just whether the rest of your team can survive whilst that's happening. I think Neve, the Void, or Niam, Neve, I know it's Neve, but everyone calls her Niam. I think she will basically be the backbone, or Valkyrie for the shield. I'm just... There, we've got your roster, so it's just on like a little tiny screen. at some point, if it won't be this week, it might be sometime next week. If you're not having any luck, message me again in Discord, and if you want, I'm happy to jump on your account and see if I can just get anything done for you. Like, the fact that I can't recommend the team is actually really bothering me, because normally I would look at something like that and go, right, there you go, it's easy. But it's been so long since I've done it on a low level account that I forgot how tricky it is to actually take down content when affinity is a massive problem. But yeah, we'll get in touch on Discord and we'll talk through that. If that's something you want to do, then I'll happily jump on your account for you and try and do it. Especially if you're that close to getting Arbiter, that's just really annoying. But yeah, I'm gonna end the stream here, guys. It was just a quick one. I just wanted to jump on, and I'm already late for what I need to actually go and do. But thank you to anyone that did watch. I really appreciate it. Like I say, I've got a couple of new videos coming out. The next one is going to be kind of boring, but it's really necessary. And then it's all to do with gear cleansing. And then we'll get back into some more fun content. And I'm going to keep having a go at seeing if we can build kind of stupid troll teams to get through this. So yeah, lovely. Thank you for watching. I know it wasn't overly exciting, but we do have Ninja Turtles. They said we were going to get it over a year ago, and now we did. Yeah, thanks a lot. Enjoy your day, guys, and don't play too much Raid. And don't spend any money in Raid, because that's super naughty. I will see you in the next videos. Take it easy.